Hey, welcome back, my amazing students. So on this lecture, we're going to continue our journey into mastering lists and mastering some of these Python fundamentals, so that way we can get, to more advanced things in the future. So let's go ahead and learn how to sort and group lists. All right, in lists here in Python. So before we do that though, there is a function I want you guys to learn how to use. This function is super useful when we are programming in Python, or even in other languages, we have different names for them. But this function here, sorted is going to allow us to sort things in alphabetical order or numerical order, right? So we pass first the thing that needs to loop around. As a matter of fact, we pass the list in this case. That's the list that we're passing this in. And you can see now that it's sorting the list in alphabetical order: bananas, bread, eggs, milk, and potatoes. Potato, because it has a P, it needs to be the last one, right? It is the last one here, but notice that bananas here is before the last one, and it's not the first one in this list here, but it is here when we finish sorting this out. So very useful function. Let's go ahead and pass count, and you can see how this actually works. And you can see now the numbers are organized in numbers, right? It's starting with number 1. Super cool, all right? That's before we actually do this feature that we're about to do now. All right, so once we have that, one thing that I also want to do, and I'm gonna just copy this here, I'm gonna create another version of this list here in a multi-dimensional way. All right, so this multi-dimensional or two-dimensional list is going to provide us a way for me to show you this example in this case here. A more complex solution here to this, to grouping and sorting, but it's going to give you some really cool knowledge. All right. So let's go ahead and create a variable here. And I'm going to call this sorted by name, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to grab, and I want you to imagine for a second that this is the item and this is the category. So this is also called a list of lists. All right. So we're going to sort by the item name instead of the category in this case. I'm going to save everything on this variable so we can loop through this later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a function that I show you how to use above. Now this function here takes a couple of different parameters. Now it takes the iterable, or should I say the list, the tuple, the dictionary, or whatever we need to loop through, right? That's the first argument it takes right here. Then the second argument would be the key, just like this, like an option. Now, this could be none if we don't pass anything, but the key is a function that tells Python how to compare elements, all right? And then I'm going to put none for now. Here would be the reverse order of this sorting thing, right? So if it's true, it does take a Boolean value here. So if it's true, it's going to do things in descending order. Right? We're not going to use it, so it's just going to act normal. Now, in the key here, what I'm going to do with our functionality, since we want to sort things by item name, I'm going to use a lambda function to do this kind of work for me, and then return its result. Now, for those of you that don't know how to use a lambda function, I got in the description of this video, I got a video that's before this one that shows you how to master lambda functions. It's probably like 5 or 6 minutes. It's not that long, all right? Anyway, so we have an argument here, and the lambda function, we have a parameter that we're going to pass in, right? It's going to be these groceries, right? And then we're going to access that item or that list first element. In this case, would be this guy right here, right? This is a two-dimensional list, so we're going to have 0 index here. The first index, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 index. All right, so we're going to access the first index of this. All right, so now if I go ahead and print this out, what I expect to see is this whole thing in alphabetical order. Right, so let's go ahead and just see it. So you can see now that we have one list here. And let me just put this bigger here so that way you guys can see it. I think you guys can see this clearly, right? We got apples, right? We got bananas, we got bread, cheese, and this is in alphabetical, and tomatoes should be the last one, right? So I mean, let me see if I have tomatoes in there. Bananas. Let me see. The last one is actually milk because it has the M. Okay, M is actually the biggest. Now let's put another one here, and I'm gonna put it right here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do tomatoes right here. That should be the third item in that list, and it should be the last one here when I execute this. And you can see that it is the last one. All right. So that's all I'm doing here in this case. But I'm gonna take this further now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a for loop here, and I'm gonna say item in groceries. As a matter of fact, not in groceries, in this guy's name, right? In this variable, like this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna indent this, and let me just put something here. Let me put a dash here so that way we know what's going on. And let me print the item. All right. Let me clear this out. And now you can see that each of this is actually in alphabetical order by item name: apples, bananas, bread, and you can see this more clearly now, right? Now, if I wanted to take the stuff out of here, the items itself, right? All I have to do is access that index, 0. And now we can take all that out and we don't even have to see that category there, right? And you can see apples, bananas, bread, cheese, eggs, milk, and tomatoes, right? Or tomatoes, how some people call it. All right, perfect. So now let's do the opposite of this. Instead of sorting by name, let's sort by category. So I'm gonna go ahead and paste that in here. I'm gonna comment this out. As a matter of fact, let me just copy it and comment it out. And I'm gonna say sorted by category, just like that. So now what do we need to do here in order to make this work? This lambda function is returning its result. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of returning 0 index, instead of returning this guy right here, I'm gonna return the category first, just like that, right? But I'm gonna do that, of course, in this one here. This one, I'm gonna comment this out as well. Now, I also want to return the name. I gotta put this here. So I'm gonna say ets the item name. So now, and let me actually, as a matter of fact, hold on. I need to put this in parentheses here. So that way I can group this. All right, so let's group it. So I'm grouping it now, and I'm saying, hey, listen, I want to see this here first. All right, this is the order I want, and then this would be the second. All right, so now if I print this, let's go ahead and print this out. All right, and let's see what we get. Come back here, and let me make this a little bigger so that way you guys can see it. All right, so now you see that we brought down the stuff by category. So let's go ahead and look at this category here real quick. And now notice that by category, right, the first one that we have, the bread here, is bakery. Bakery is the word here, the letter that's before, right? That's in alphabetical order. The B is before the D. And the D, right, the D, you have another dairy here, is before the F, right? And the F right here, fruits, is before, right? So that's the last one actually. So that's by category. So we are putting everything in alphabetical order by categories, right? So bakery would be first in alphabetical order. The D, the F, and the whatever, right? So perfect. All right, so now you got that, right? But we can actually come back here if you want to see this a little better. And let's go ahead and do this here. And you can see now that we are taking this down, but we are actually printing out the item, right? Instead of printing out this, the categories. Now you can see it better, right? Super, super, super cool. Now let's take this a little further and let's start grouping let's do this manually, all right? Now, let's group by category. And what I'm gonna do here, super simple. Let's go back here, down here actually. And let's go and create a loop here. And I'm gonna say I want the name of that item and I want the category here. Watch this. And sort it by category, okay? Now I'm gonna take this loop out of here. I'm gonna comment this out, right? So I'm gonna say I want the print, and I'll show you, this is not gonna work the way that we expect it to work in the beginning, but I'm gonna make it work at the end just to show you how this actually works, all right? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna print the category along with their items, all right? So if we do this way like this, and let me put an F string here, and I can say N, and let's print out the category, and let's put everything in uppercase here, just like that, okay? And if we do this, come back here, and you can see now that we're printing out all the categories, right? In uppercase, dairy, is repeated multiple times, okay? Now, this is not what we want, right? Let's go here, and also we can print out let's do F string here. Let's print out the name, right? So let's do that. All right. Now you can see that we're printing out the categories along with their items inside, right? The dairy has that, but look, we all have these repeated categories, right? And they, yes, it's fine. They are all displaying their current item, and that's great stuff, right? That's good. But we can do a little better than that, right? Why don't we keep track of the categories that get repeated and omitted, meaning that we should not put it in our printing in the console, right? So what we can do is we can have this variable here, current category. This variable here can serve as we can look at this like memory, right? Like a memory variable. This is gonna keep track of the current category, so that way we don't repeat. And what we can do here, we can say something like, if the category, right, the category that's in the list is not equal to the current category, which is not going to be equal because this current category is actually none here, right? Then what I want to do is I want to assign the category to the current category. So I can say something like this: assign the category, whatever category that is at that particular moment in the loop, to the current category, right? Simple as that. And what we can do is we can put this print statement a little bit this way inside the if statement. Now, this should work the way we expected. No repeated categories. Now let's save it and let's execute it. And now you can see bakery. The only bakery category we have with bread. There we go. And then dairy with all the items belonging to dairy. And then fruits with all the items belonging to fruits. That works a little better, right? I think the most difficult part for beginners is this piece of code right here to understand. And I want you to think about this like a question. Is this item in the same category as before? If yes, if it is in the same category, then I want you to print the name. If no, I want you to print the category, and then I want you to print the name. Now, with that said, here's what happens in the first iteration. We grab category. In this case, category could be dairy, right? The first iteration. And we assign it to current category. Then it's gonna loop again, right? It's not gonna find category again on the same one. It's gonna say, hey, listen, It's gonna loop through all of it, and it's gonna if it sees dairy again, it doesn't assign it, right? It's gonna assign the next one. Let's go ahead, and the next one, let me just take that off. The next one could be fruits, right? And it's gonna loop again around, right? It's gonna check all the categories again, right? All the duplicate ones, and it's not gonna, if it sees a different one, then it will give me the other one. And what is the other one? It could be, the other one would, let me see what it was before. Dairy, fruits, and bakery, right? And then it's gonna grab bakery. Simple as that, right? And it's gonna keep looping around. If it doesn't see anything different, this is all we're gonna get. And that's what we're seeing down here. That's what we're seeing in the code. We're not seeing any duplicates because we have this little functionality here that's preventing duplicates from actually coming through, all right? So that's all there is to that. Hopefully you guys understand it. If not, just run the code over and over again until you get it down. Very, very important that you guys get this stuff before you jump into the next lecture. Remember, this is a progressive course, a progressive list. We are progressively getting better and things are getting more difficult. And so you need the fundamentals first, right? I'll see you guys on the next one. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this and it's not that boring. I'll see you guys then. Take care.